We're told that ancient Africa was a land of superstition, that its spiritual beliefs were primitive, unsophisticated. A continent shrouded in the darkness of idol worship and baseless ritual. But what if that's a lie? What if, hidden in plain sight, lies the evidence of a profound system of knowledge? A way of understanding the universe so advanced it could rewrite our story of the ancient world. Today, we journey back to uncover the genius of Africa's traditional beliefs. This is not the story of a dark continent. This is the light before much of the world awoke. For centuries, the narrative has been controlled. Written by colonizers and conquerors, the story of Africa was twisted to serve their own interests. They called its complex cosmologies animism, a dismissive term suggesting a childlike belief that everything has a soul. They labeled revered ancestors idols and its spiritual practitioners witches. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a systematic campaign to tear down a culture. The goal was to undermine the confidence of African people in their own heritage, to erase their history and replace it with a foreign one that painted the colonizer as a savior. But that official history is collapsing under the weight of truth. What was dismissed as superstition is now being re-examined as a sophisticated and coherent system of knowledge. This wasn't religion as the West often defines it. It was a holistic framework for understanding the universe that touched every single facet of life. Imagine Africa not as a primitive landscape, but as a living library of wisdom, where every tradition, every ritual, and every story is a book containing cosmic secrets. For centuries, those books were deliberately mislabeled, their contents distorted. Today, we're opening them to read what they truly are, a blueprint for a forgotten way of being. A technology of consciousness that modern science is only now beginning to appreciate. To understand the genius of traditional African thought, you have to forget the Western idea of a God in the sky, totally separate from creation. Instead, the foundational principle is a universe that is radically interconnected. The core idea is that humanity's purpose is to harmonize the natural world with the supernatural. The first secret is the law of harmony. In many traditional African worldviews, everything is connected: the spiritual and the physical, the living and the dead, you and your community, humanity and nature. This isn't some poetic sentiment. It's a fundamental law. Sickness, for example, often wasn't seen as just a physical problem. It was understood as an imbalance in a person's life, a breakdown in their relationship with their family, community, or even their ancestors. Healing, therefore, wasn't just about treating the body, it was about restoring balance to the entire system. This perspective sees the universe as a single living organism, and every part has a duty to help maintain the whole. The second secret is its complex cosmology. Western observers mistakenly called African beliefs simple polytheism, a chaotic mess of countless gods. This is a profound misunderstanding. While beliefs vary widely across the continent's thousands of cultures, many traditional systems include the concept of a single, supreme creator, known by countless names like Olodumare, Nyam, or Chukwu. This being is the ultimate source of all life, a force so vast it's often beyond direct human interaction. The so-called lesser gods and spirits weren't rivals to this supreme being. They were intermediaries, spiritual specialists, and cosmic forces governing specific parts of reality like laws of physics, or ministers in a divine government. Ancestors, in turn, served as revered mediators between the world of the living and this divine hierarchy. This wasn't a messy pantheon of competing gods. It was a structured, logical cosmos where every being, seen and unseen, had a vital role. The third secret is understanding nature as a living text. In these worldviews, nature isn't a dead resource to be exploited. It is a sacred, intelligent entity. Spirits are believed to live in rivers, mountains, and forests. But this is more than nature worship. It's recognizing that the divine speaks through the natural world. The rhythm of the seasons, the behavior of animals, the properties of plants, all of these were seen as messages, as data. The environment was a living scripture, and those who could read it held keys to survival and spiritual alignment. Healers, for example, didn't just know which herbs to use. They understood the spiritual essence of the plants and how to partner with them to bring about healing. This sacred ecology is a form of science that our modern world, facing environmental collapse, desperately needs to relearn. So how did people interact with this living universe? Through what you might call refined spiritual technologies, systematic methods for engaging with the unseen world. Let's start with divination. Far from being simple fortune-telling, divination in Africa is a sophisticated system for gathering intelligence. It operates on the idea that everything visible has an invisible cause, and that these causes can be understood by interpreting subtle patterns. Think of it as a form of cosmic data analysis. The most stunning example is the Ifa divination system of the Yoruba people. Recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the intangible heritage of humanity, Ifa is a breathtakingly complex system. It's based on 256 sacred signs, or ODU, which are generated using a binary-like code. Each of these signs is linked to thousands of poetic verses, myths, and proverbs containing the accumulated wisdom of the Yoruba people. When someone consults an Ifa oracle, the diviner, or Babelio, doesn't just predict the future. They identify the specific cosmic energies at play in the person's life, and by reciting the relevant verses, download the precise spiritual guidance needed to restore balance. It's a diagnostic tool, a historical archive, and a therapeutic system all in one. And that's just one example. Across the continent, cultures developed their own unique ways to retrieve this spiritual data. From interpreting the patterns of thrown cowrie shells or bones, to drawing sacred geometric figures in the sand. This wasn't guesswork. It was a refined science of pattern recognition and symbolic interpretation. Next, we have to rethink trance. In the West, a trance state is often viewed with suspicion as a loss of control or a sign of instability. But in many African spiritual traditions, trance is a controlled, intentional state of spiritual connection. It's a method for altering consciousness to allow the human body to become a vessel for other forms of intelligence, ancestors, nature spirits, or divinities. It's how the divine could download wisdom directly into a human being. This state isn't random. It's often activated by specific, repeatable techniques. The precise rhythms of a drum, the frequency of a chant, or repetitive dance movements. These weren't acts of madness, but a symbiotic partnership, a form of divine communication that served the entire community. One of the most misunderstood parts of African spirituality is the relationship with those who have passed on. The colonial term for this was ancestor worship, a phrase loaded with hints of idolatry, but that's a distortion. A better term is **** ancestor veneration, ****, and it represents one of the most sophisticated social and spiritual technologies ever developed. The fourth secret is that ancestors aren't truly dead. In many African worldviews, death isn't an end, but a transition. Ancestors are active, influential members of the family and community. They are the guardians of tradition, the keepers of the family line, and the mediators between the living and the divine. They are, in essence, a living library of wisdom and experience. Practices like pouring libations or offering food are not worship in the Western sense. They are acts of remembrance, communication, and respect, like bringing flowers to a loved one's grave or sharing family stories to keep their memory alive. It's a way of saying the relationship is not broken by death. These rituals reinforce the community's continuity, ensuring the wisdom of the past guides the present. Ancestors, having a wider perspective from the spiritual realm, can offer guidance and protection. This system was the bedrock of ethics and law. The ancestors were the ultimate guardians of social norms. The desire to honor the family name was a powerful force for maintaining social cohesion and resolving disputes. This wasn't about being trapped by the past. It was about standing on the shoulders of giants. This practice created a deep sense of identity and belonging, anchoring people in a lineage that stretched back through time and would continue long into the future. The final secret is that these principles weren't just abstract beliefs. They were a practical science applied to every part of life, shaping societies that were resilient and deeply connected. This spiritual science was the engine of social cohesion, concepts like Ubuntu, a philosophy from Southern African Bantu traditions, show this perfectly. The phrase "I am because we are" isn't just a nice saying. It's a spiritual and social command. It recognizes that your identity and well-being are tied to your community. Justice was often restorative, not punitive, focused on healing relationships rather than just punishing an offender. It was also an ecological science, Many rituals were directly tied to nature's cycles, like planting and harvesting. These were ways of syncing human activity with the Earth's rhythms, showing a deep understanding of ecological balance. They were a technology for sustainable living, ensuring communities thrived by working with their environment, not against it. Perhaps the greatest proof of this spiritual science's power is its resilience. For centuries, These spiritual systems have interacted with and adapted to other belief systems, like Islam and Christianity. When later faced with the horrors of colonialism and the slave trade, these traditions did not just break. They adapted, evolved, and survived. In the Americas, enslaved Africans ingeniously blended their spiritual practices with indigenous and Catholic beliefs to create new, powerful systems like voodoo, hoodoo, and candomblé. This blending, or syncretism, isn't a sign of dilution. It's proof of the robustness and creativity of the core African worldview, which absorbed new elements while keeping its fundamental principles alive. We've journeyed back and uncovered a world not of primitive superstition, but of profound scientific and spiritual sophistication. We've seen that divination could be a form of data analysis, trance a technology of consciousness, and ancestor veneration a system for social harmony. This was a worldview where the sacred and the scientific were one, where harmony was the ultimate law, and where humanity lived in active conversation with the cosmos. The attempt to erase this knowledge was one of the greatest cultural thefts in human history. But what was buried can be unearthed. What was silenced can speak again. The secrets of ancient Africa's spiritual genius aren't lost. They are simply waiting for us to remember. They offer a path back to a more holistic, interconnected way of being. This is more than history. It's a roadmap for the future. If this journey into Africa's spiritual genius has opened your eyes, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss our future explorations into the world's hidden histories. And now, we want to hear from you. What aspect of these spiritual systems fascinated you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and let's continue this vital conversation. Thank you for watching.